So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be talking about toxic beauty that has been created, ushered, and upheld by the Kardashians. Yes, the Kardashians, my favorite family to talk about. I've been on a little break from social media and YouTube because I just be needing to detach. But when I did resume my social media use, I really had this thought. The Kardashians and millennial social media are the two main mediums that have ruined this generation. The Kardashians are this mega power that spun out of control. I don't think they were supposed to last this long yet. Because they've been able to climb the social ladder to be solidified, they are the most influential. And I think their influence stems from privilege, opulence, and contrived and toxic beauty. I don't think the average woman had that many insecurities 10 years ago when the Kardashians were known, but not as relevant or influential as they are today. But through the rise of social media and the combination of their dire conceit and obsession with beauty, I think they've allowed a negative trickle-down effect on the beauty world and the women invested in it. By that I mean, in my opinion, the way how women tend to be self-conscious these days is heightened because the original beauty world was not as infiltrated with toxic and artificial beauty. Plastic surgery has always been a thing, photo retouching has always been a thing, but the Kardashians have intertwined and normalized these phenomenons, and just about everyone has fallen into it. There was never that much focus on having big lips until Kylie Jenner. There was never that much focus on having a big butt until Kim Kardashian. There was never that much focus on looking racially ambiguous until the Kardashians overly tanned their skin. There really wasn't that much focus on what people think the face of beauty is until the Kardashians invaded this space in their way. And let's be real, we don't have to follow what they do. We never had to fall into their rules or their ways, as they are free to do what they see is fit. But we cannot act like their role in beauty isn't in our faces at all times. I grew up watching reality TV as it was kind of new when I was a kid. So I remember the Kardashians before and how normal they looked and even how they kind of used to be relatable. I have seen the metamorphosis they've embodied over the years and how much their own toxic beauty has caused them even more self-insecurity, which is the craziest thing because the same women who set the beauty standards are the same women who fall victim to insecurity of what they really look like. I often wonder, do they ever stop and think about how much their physical appearance has changed the trajectory of women and their self-confidence, or if they feel responsible for how unattainable their beauty is from a natural and social spectrum? And again, they are not forcing anyone to follow what they do, but even for those who don't, the outcome to their reservations or refusals to conform is basically not being deemed attractive or trendy. And that may not matter to some, but believe me you, for that age group of like 18 to 29, it affects us without true effort and attention to it. I really try not to follow social media beauty influencers who are offsprings of the Kardashian toxic beauty baby, because not following them seems to be one of the most effective defenses. It's really inevitable that as a young woman in 2022, you're going to see how the Kardashians have set a beauty standard that is detrimental and destructive to modern society. So I thought this was relevant to current beauty and body image. I've broken this video down into 3 main talking points, so without further ado, let's get right into this video. So point number 1 is toxic trendsetters. Trends come and go. Trends can be something as temporary, like when everyone was rocking mini sunglasses a few summers ago, to how a lot of people are doing skunk highlights in their hair right now. But what I define as a toxic trend are things that cause harm or are counterproductive to the way how people should feel about themselves. So of course I've talked so much about BBLs and then these invasive procedures and then even things like how people were promoting and ingesting flat tummy tea a few years back. These are toxic trends, and although most of us are aware that they either don't work or are not healthy, they still get placed in our faces. The Kardashians were very secretive about their work in the beginning and still maintain this level of silence about what they've gotten done. But with research and medical transparency and regular people giving their accounts on all of these beauty trends, we've been able to see how toxic or dangerous a lot of their beauty is. In my last video, I spoke about tanning injections called melatonin 1 and 2, which are used to darken your skin through an injection that causes your melanin cells to bind together. And it's alleged that some of the Kardashian sisters do use this. I was watching their show the other day and they were getting ready for the Met Gala, and I couldn't help but notice how pale white they are without tan or just regular makeup. And the average white girl tans. There is nothing wrong with that. But seeing the differences in their appearance that have been pinned as the pinnacle of beauty is why toxic beauty remains. I want to reference an interview clip where Kim Kardashian pretty much denies playing a role in unattainable beauty. Here's what she had to say.
The second half of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians reunion aired last night, and the family says they do not promote an unattainable level of beauty to the public.
Do you think that you are promoting unattainable standards of beauty in any way?
No, I don't. Because I think we get up, we do the work, we work out, you know.
We all really enjoy taking care of ourselves and being healthy. So I think if anything, the only thing we're really trying to represent is just having the most healthy, being the most healthy version of yourself.
Everyone says, oh my gosh, she's had her third face transplant, but I've had one nose job, Dr. Raj Kanodia, and everyone gets so upset, like, why don't I talk about it? No one's ever asked me. You're the first person in an interview that's ever asked me about my nose. I've done, sure, injections, not really Botox. I've responded horribly to Botox.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I don't even know where to start. First, Katie, I'll just say, like, well, imagine if someone in an interview was just like, Chloe, have you had a nose job? How well would that go over if someone just asked her blatantly about that? But Candy, please give us your thoughts.
So as you can see here, it's the deflection for me. It's like, I know people say that celebrities shouldn't raise their kids and parents should raise their kids. I do agree, but there's like a partial moral responsibility or obligation that celebrities should have, in my opinion. Another subcategory to their toxic beauty is how they influence body weight. It's no secret that Kim and Khloe Kardashian are significantly smaller or skinnier than they used to be. And people lose and gain weight all the time, but the Kardashians shapeshift. And the way how we see their body and are under the impression and allegation that they are surgically enhanced, they willingly push toxic beauty while invading themselves from the responsibility of their influence. I'm not going to fully blame them for doing what they want to do and then parts of the general public being too insecure to not have to conform, but I will say that what they're pushing is downright unattainable for the average person. But it's average people who are the biggest consumers of all of their brands, whether they are beauty related or not. So over the years, they have participated in trends as well as promoting trends that have been very pivotal in female beauty society, and I think they are solely to blame for a lot of it. I mean, their whole brand is based off of how they look, so of course they have a dominant role in how toxic beauty has become over the years. Now, my second point is capitalizing off of Black beauty. This point, to me, is the most obvious and the most controversial. I've done several videos calling out the Kardashians for excessive skin tanning or photo editing to make themselves appear more ethnic. It annoys me because people say that the Kardashians are Armenian as if that means that they're Black. Last time I checked, Armenia was in Europe. It was within the region of the Caucasus Mountains, making them full-blown white women. And even with their European ancestry, like I said before, if you watch their show, you can see how pale they really are. All of them. So the fact that there are so many Black or African beauty trends that they have hijacked and kind of reintroduced under the scope of their beauty brands does add to toxic beauty, because capitalizing off the looks, swagger, and historical or cultural trends of Black people, all while having no knowledge behind a lot of it, is pretty poisonous. I feel like the first time that the Kardashians started with this was, of course, when Kylie Jenner introduced her lip kits and made an empire off of that. I mean, think about it. A white girl from Vocal Fry, California, with 150% density wig thin lips finds a way to make hundreds of millions of dollars off of an insecurity of a body feature that primarily naturally occurs in Black or African or just ethnic women. And as I think back to that time, I don't know how the hell she was able to slide for this long, because I feel like if this was now, it wouldn't have gotten as big. But the toxicity in it is, although it may be genuine in regards to she was able to have her consumers sympathize with her insecurity, at the end of the day, it still seems very scandalous. And that's mainly because the profit margins that Kylie Jenner received, all while not being honest about her lip filler enhancements, caused more insecurity of women that still ripples in 2022. I mean, currently, we are in the era of the lips and the butt, but I really think the lips are super popular these days because it's seen as kind of doable for everyone, reasonably affordable if you're making some type of money, and not as invasive as other body procedures. But again, fuller lips are something that usually occurs in Black or African people, and there's no way in hell that a Black girl from Compton would have been able to have this much financial and social success off of capitalizing off of any of her physical insecurities or attributes. An article from CNBC that was written in 2017 says, Kylie Jenner, the youngest member of the Kardashian-Jenner family, may be only 20 years old, but she could be the most successful of all of the sisters, including older half-sister Kim Kardashian West. In fact, WWD recently announced that what began as an online business selling lipstick for $29 each has earned Jenner's makeup company Kylie Cosmetics $420 million in sales in only 18 months. It is projected to rake in $1 billion in lifetime sales by 2022, according to WWD. So Kylie is now 25 years old, but although she's falling a little bit more into oblivion, she left an indelible mark on the beauty world by capitalizing off of this feature that most Black women get teased for. And there's other examples that the sisters have done. Who remembers in 2016 when Kim Kardashian got these Panera flatbread cornrow braids in her head and then had the nerve to coin them as boxer braids or Bo Derek braids? Kim Kardashian has also been called out for overly editing her photos and appearing way darker than what she actually is. Even as far as their whole aesthetic when it came to the big booty, small waist, bigger bust, it was to appeal to a Black man's attention and attraction by having the Black girl features on a white canvas. There was another time in 2018 that Khloe Kardashian was called out for going to Diana Ross's 75th birthday party with this very big curly blonde afro looking hairstyle. And it's crazy because the hairstyle was cute, but I was like, how much effort did it even take for you to even get type 3 hair, knowing that her hair is naturally a loose curl and definitely not a tight curl. And Khloe barely ever wears her hair naturally curly like she claims it to be. Let's also not forget how many times they have stolen from Black designers to replicate their fashion and use it for their own personal gain. So when you really think about it, most of the Kardashians' success is due to capitalizing off of Black culture. Like, we already knew that. Like, if you took away every instance in which they appropriated, in which they copied, in which they injected themselves to appear more ethnic, if you take all of that away, I think their relevance would have died by like 2016. I don't think they would have been able to be these megastars that they have continued to be without the influence of Black culture. And it's one thing to just use Black slang. I feel like everybody kind of does that at this point. It's one thing to date Black men. I feel like a lot of non-Black women are dating Black men these days. But the way how they influence beauty in a toxic way through the culture of one that is not their own is probably the most offensive and detrimental. Now, my third and final point is current day appeal. So it's no secret that the Kardashians have been these social sirens. I feel like that's what they are. They are like these alluring, enchanting women who definitely lead people on a path to destruction when it comes to beauty and self-esteem. And I'm not gonna 100% rag on them because some of the makeup looks I like, some of the weird fashion I'm into. But at the end of the day, the after effect is what is most important to look at. I think they're trying to fall into a different beauty category these days, which we've talked about before on my channel. They've kind of transformed back into the early 2000s look with being obsessed with being thin. And it's funny because I feel like I'm reliving my childhood. I've never seen so many girls want to slim down at this rate. And the Kardashians' influence to all things beauty may not be an isolated attack only by them, but the public nor their family can deny how much toxic beauty they have put out. And I also think that they actually recognize that, hence why they are trying to look more everyday and average. One thing about the Kardashians is that they will never admit to superficial wrongdoings because they feel entitled to do these things to stay relevant. However, their ears are to the streets just like the rest of us. They absolutely know that they have gone too far with a lot of their body trends. They've been exposed for the way how they do business and the background influences that have produced a lot of their brands. And I predict that a lot of people are going to start to regain their physical security and self-esteem because beauty trends are now being ushered in a more natural direction. The conversations about not getting so caught up in the artificial world of social media have been rampant, especially by me. And the Kardashians are taking heed of this so they don't get left in the dirt and receive all the blame for why there are women not making it off the doctor's table, or women who keep injecting their lips beyond reasonable size, and women who are obsessed with looking more ethnic even though their roots go back to the Caucasus Mountain. Basically, these women know exactly what they're doing and they definitely read the room when it comes to beauty especially. This family has been infamous for doing so many toxic beauty trends and standards that it's almost refreshing to see them go back to looking kind of normal, only because they are so influential that this actually may signify some type of change. It's almost bittersweet because it's like we shouldn't be listening to them, but at the same time, the era that they are cascading into is a bit more maintainable and doable for the average woman. Either way, like I always say, find a way to maintain your self-esteem because it's super hard these days, especially if you're a young person. I think for those of us who are in our 20s, we have been tested in so many ways because of our generation's infatuation with how we look. And in the long run, we have to undo a lot of the conditioning that has been caused by all of these toxic beauty standards. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If you haven't already, go stream my song Ballin'. It is out on all platforms, and I have new music definitely dropping in this new year, 2023. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Lastly, please be sure to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
Yo, they don't know who they messing with. I be where the blessings is, my pockets never deficit. You can't touch all this excellence, you gon' need a prerequisite. You gon' need some relevance, so cut it OT Genesis. Pat in the mail from my boys in Abuja. Big, meaty, spicy, juicy, baby, call me Suya. I said 24/7, we stacking, racking. I'm a bad bitch, you fraction, lacking. Counting bread while he playing Madden. I'm in the building, bitch, what's happening? Queen Chioma, pure satisfaction. I'm really a vet, these joints need practice. Running circles around them, we laughing. QTM girls like camera action. Wanna book the girls, you need 1,000 Andrew Jackson. Add it up and do the math, ain't no subtraction. YouTube hit 200K, but that was back then. Watch your back, bitch, you know I can make it happen. Your man a pendulum, you know that he's swinging right back, and he can't get enough of me, baby, cause I'm like that. In the comments going off and really talking shit. Shoot them up in my lyrics so they can know that I can spit. I'm real and you counterfeit. Body looking nice and fit. It's $500,000 for bail, for real, cause I'm African. Stop flexing with your homegirl.